Good morning, everybody. We're waiting on people to get on here. Good morning. Gonna give people time to get on here. Good morning, everybody. Mm-mm. Uh, Rick, what's going on? Well, Miss Regina, New Orleans, Sister Michelle, Sister Jason, Tuck, what's going on? Morgs, Coach Rob, Whitfields, Sister Sherry, good morning. Bigelow family, good morning. Dr. Hill, good morning. Mr. Quincy Martin, good morning, sir. Got the same first name and same birth date. Man, what are the odds of that? Two people being named Quincy going to the same high school having the same birthday. That's like one in a million type odds. I've only met two or three people ever with my name before my life. And you one of them, and we share a birthday? That's crazy. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. Yeah, I think we all know what it is. I think we all know what it is. And so obviously, first thing, our hope is not in our political system. Now I will say this. Y'all know I don't do this much. I don't speak on this much. I don't get too involved in this. But one of the things I will say that has bothered me over the years, and I've been pretty vocal about this, even when I was in Bible college, is the way that when some of my conservative brothers and sisters and the way that they talk about their politics, um, it's God's saving grace when it goes their way, and it's God's judgment when it doesn't. And I think that's probably one of the things that, you know what, pump your brakes. Like just pump your brakes. Y'all stop trying to pour oil on people. Now praying for people is one thing, because we should. But when you try to shove certain things down our throats and make it seem like this is God's moment and God's man and God, wait, wait. My wife said, she said, "Don't do it." We're gonna do it. Read some literature. Like, come on now. Like, just be honest and say, call a thing, because we all know, and I don't care what side of the aisle you fall on, and whether or not you want to admit it to yourself or not. We all know that if Obama, if Harris, or any person of color would have ever incited a riot at the nation's cap on the nation's capital. Like, forget what happened in Ferguson, forget what happened here in Tampa, anywhere else on the nation's capital. There would be no way, no way. Like, and I know people disagree with me, but there's no way ever a person of color could have ever done that and still ran for president. No way. Or had all of the indictments and charges and the checkered past and still become president. That's not. Like, in the hey, if you, I hear all this voting policy and all this stuff like that. And I don't have an issue with that. But to be so blinded that you can't admit that truth, and that you can casually omit the fact that dude straight up caused a riot at the nation's capital and people's lives were in danger, in jeopardy, on his own former vice president, Mike Pence. Like, I'm like, are we in intertwined? And that's the thing I would say that upsets a lot of people. It's not the policies as much, but it's don't pee on me and tell me it's raining. Like, for real, for real. And so I mean, that's just is what it is. Like, that's like, and all these people talk about, well, this is God's man, Jehu, blah blah. Man, I don't think God too much impressed to please with it. Like, I don't think he's. I'm praying for our government. Like, that's what we want to do, and that's what we should do, and that's what the Bible tells us. Like, it's obvious that we should pray for those who have authority and rule over us because it affects our outcome. So that's, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I ain't moving nowhere. I mean, because whoever's in the White House, I'm still, look here, man. I live in Florida. I live in a vacation state, man. I'm not moving. I'm staying right here. I'm staying right here where I am. I'm in Florida from Tennessee by way of Texas. I'm good. Like, I'm good. I'm gonna go to my son's high school football game tomorrow. I'm gonna go to Eagles Nest Conference tomorrow as well. Looking forward to seeing you at the Eagles Nest Conference. But I will say, this, that sometimes the just the outright, I won't say dichotomy, is like, it's double standards. It's double standards. And I don't mind policies being policies. That's fine. And just as a whole, I think oftentimes politics is more concerned about one side winning than the other versus actually working together for the benefit of the people. Because even with the Affordable Care Act, the way that Mitch McConnell and them, like, to stand up and brazenly say that you're not going to do anything that the president puts on the table, that's a disrespect. Like, that's, who says that? Who does that? Um, so I'll say this. Um, Calling a spade, person of color couldn't get away with that. Like, I'm like, this isn't woke. And even though they've hijacked the term woke, because even with being woke, there's nothing wrong with being aware of certain things that exist, and certain injustices that exist, and certain disadvantages that exist because of the way that um, this thing has been structured. That they're like, they try to make some, well, we're against woke culture. Like, dude, like, since we've been living in Florida, like, Fifth Third's Bank, like, just a few years ago, was sued because they actually had practices that targeted minorities and would charge them higher interest rates. Like, there are certain things that are actually happening, that are intended to um, actually disenfranchise groups of people, and that's like, that ain't have anything to be doing woke. That's just about being just. And so, this idea that people will try to slap a label on on um on Trump is like, and all these people, like, praying, like, don't get me wrong, we pray for people. Man, don't tell me this is God's appointed man for this hour. And like, then when it's not, it's God's judgment. Like, when your party loses, God's judgment. Or when your party loses, they incite riots on the White House. Like, come on, man. Come on, man. Yeah, we better than this. Come on, man. Um, so needless to say, I'm not moving. We're gonna go about our day, regardless who's in the White House, but we're going to acknowledge it and call a thing a thing. You and I both know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that if that was a color person, a person of color person,
Oh my gosh.
a person of color, my cough hadn't kicked in yet. That wouldn't have happened. Name probably wouldn't even been on the ballot, especially with convictions and felonies and all the check of the past. Wouldn't have happened. Like, wouldn't have happened. And if you're a Trump supporter, I don't got no problem with that. Just say it, but at least acknowledge the fact that that wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have. And so, we ain't no we ain't yeah, just call thing. I'm not like a yeah, God is sovereign. Like it's disappointing, but it's not. I don't have like this visceral response, like it's like, oh, it's gonna be horrible. Hey, man, I live in Florida. Like y'all know my stance. I live in a vacation state. Um, but I will say this, and I just wanted to say this. Um, that's right. I know that Sister Candace said she's not afraid because she knows who holds tomorrow. That's true. But on the flip side, don't shove that stuff down my throat. Um, to all my and act like he's God's appointed man. Nah, I don't buy that. I'm not buying that. And then when it's somebody that's God's judgment on America, nah. I think all of us a little bit of judgment. You ask me. Um, but anyway, beside the point. This is what I want to say. We know that a person of color could not have done that. Period. Period. There's no way a person of color could have done that. That's the truth. Mom said, I said, Mom, I'm tired. Jim started messing up her Wednesday. We went in. Hey, she said when she saw the lecture, when she saw the results, she woke me up. Well, did you wake me up when you called me? No. It was right before I went to. She said, you got to do the prayer call tomorrow. I said, all right. Well, yeah. So it is what it is. But I will stand by my statement. A person of color could not have done that. And whoever hides behind any kind of you can hide behind the abortion law and all this stuff about marriage and but truth be told, you all, we know like that there's no way a person of color could have took that road to the White House at all. At all. Like there's no way. No way. And that shows symptomatic, I think, some things that we need to look at amongst ourselves, because if that's what we're choosing and what we're saying God is pleased with, then um, something's wrong. Because 4 years ago when he lost, it was not this. It was the nation was in upheaval, and no class, no nothing. And so I think it's amazing how people can code switch so quick. But anyway, so yeah, that's where we at. That's what I wanted to say. And so we're gonna pray for our elected officials. What does God have to say? What does God have to say? Um, we heard what you said. My wife's gonna say, now what does God have to say? He's still sovereign. He's still in control. He bends the hearts of the king. And I think what always comes to me is that some trust in chariots, some trust in horses. That we trust in the Lord our God. Yeah. And that we are not in a theocracy, we're in a democracy. And so there are certain things that if honestly that we it's in our hands. And what we get is because of what we have sown. Right. It's the consequences of our own actions. And so I don't necessarily think you slap God's name on something that we set up, we chose, and we try to act like it's, this whole God thing. But really sometimes it's not. And I'm not, yeah, it's free. We got free will. Sometimes, and sometimes it's not, God's not all that impressed with our politics. And the lack of humility that we share and that we show, and the cherry picking of scriptures, and you talk about all these things, but like, hey man, what about the poor, the widow, the orphan, the hungry? Those things that the justice that God clearly demands. And so you got to take scripture and totality. Yeah, in its whole totality, right. Whole totality. And to boil down my Christian faith on abortion, and even with that, it's like you don't have the government shouldn't be dictating. Okay, my wife said stop. Don't you're gonna upset somebody. I didn't say that. Well, she says she said She said, don't use a prayer call for this. I shouldn't have called it morning prayer. I should have called it the morning after. That's why I should have called this the morning. Yeah. So this is the morning talk, the morning after. But yeah, so I mean, it is what it is, you all. God is still in control. But I will say this: we know for a fact that a person of color would not and could not. And I even pushed a step further. I've seen it happen on just regular jobs. When I was at Walmart, there were things I saw bilingual counterparts do: throw fits, cuss, act crazy, do things, wild out at corporate parties and conferences and events, and um, nothing, nothing. But we step too far out of line, say the wrong thing, they come for us, and so and that's not a and that's one of those things. Unless you've experienced it, you just don't know. Like unless you've experienced it, there are certain things you just until you've actually experienced it. There are certain realities that we're just not aware of. And it's like, yeah, and there's just certain things you're just not aware of. Um, so that's what I'm gonna say to that. We know I'm going. A person of color couldn't have got away with this. Like that's just now we're gonna pray for our president and them, and the government. Hopefully, y'all voted like you're supposed to. Um, but we know a person of color. Nah. Hey, that's I'll go back there. A person of color could never. That's the truth. So, yeah. So I'm yeah, we're gonna let that go. Yeah, we're gonna let that go. So, be encouraged today. Oh my God. Be strengthened in the Lord today. Oh my God. And the word for today, hey, person of color couldn't have did it. Hey, stop it. But am I lying though? Am I lying? No, you're not lying. You're not lying. And this is one of those things that we'll say that you probably can't say at work if you have certain positions, and you can't say certain things we can't say in certain spaces because of how it might affect us, and we have certain policies, and but then some are just so brazen they can say whatever, whenever, however they want, and there's no consequences at all. But some of us, we don't have that luxury, and so let me say it for you: a person of color couldn't have got away with this. Like just click that up and just a person of color couldn't have got away with that. They couldn't have ran. They wouldn't have. Their names wouldn't have been on the ballot. So, that's true. Like, ain't no way. There's no, and anybody associated. Cause even when Obama was associated with Jeremiah Wright, the his pastor that was in the civil rights movement, he had to almost disassociate himself from his pastor, in order. And this joker inside the riot on the White House. That's crazy, man. That's the irony. That's crazy. So anyway, so the word what I will leave y'all with is Eagle's Nest is tomorrow. Don't forget. What'd you say, mate? I said, what an advertisement. Yeah, she said, Jim said, what an advertisement. Where's Morgan? I'm switching gears. She said, where's Morgan? She said, Morgan the political police. She said, hey, don't say it like that. Say this. Morgan, please. She said, Morgan, Jennifer over calling for you. Text Jennifer, let her know it's okay. Man, you don't understand. Man, they for the culture more than me. But yeah, so so Eagles Nest is tomorrow, Friday. So want to make sure that we are going for that. So gonna have a good time, real good time of fellowship and encouragement and learning and just rubbing elbows. And then the last thing is a person of color couldn't get away with that. Like that's why I'm gonna rest my case. Just say she gonna talk to me after we off this. A person of color couldn't get away with that. So y'all be blessed. You have a good one. And we couldn't have got away with that. Y'all pray on your own. We wouldn't have been able to get away with that. So that's just call a spade a spade. And this is even to all my conservative Republican friends, and I'm not mad at you. I'm going to support, do whatever, pray for my president. None of that. There's no ill motive. There's no ill feelings. There's no hatred. There's no visceral reaction. It's just the fact of the matter that a person of color could not have gotten away with that. Period. Period. Like, period. So, and apparently neither can a woman. Well, she was a woman and a person of color, so she had double whammy against her. She couldn't get away with it either. So, yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. So Eagle's Nest.
Eagle's Nest.
So if you have not done so, check it out. Then secondly, a person of color couldn't got away with that.
And no prayer.
Yeah, prayer on your own.
Oh,
so y'all be blessed.
Wow.
You have a good one, and we'll see you on tomorrow morning.